Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. So we've got the Kaon Dcdc charger mounting bracket, which is obviously a good idea for a number of reasons. Quality stainless steel finish, universal fitment. You can fit a lot of different chargers, you know. There's all those holes there pre-drilled, ready to go. It puts it in a place nicely out of the way, so it doesn't take up any space. So it's fairly unseen other than the parts you want to see when you want to see it. And it's nice and secure up the front there, getting a bit of airflow to help keep it cool. So we're originally supplied with this one on the left. No, sorry, we were originally supplied with the one on the right. So your 150 Prados up until around whenever they changed, I think in 2018, is the one on the right. So the only difference is they've made another one and the bottom changes. See that bottom bracket, instead of facing that way, straight up and down. So that should bolt straight in. But what we're going to do, we're going to mount our charger in place first, which is going to sit something along, I'll take a guess that they're the holes there, I think. You know, obviously it'll line up when I pretty close anyway, but alright, so it's going to sit like that, nice and neat, and we'll get the bracket in there. So the vehicle end of things, all we've done is remove this top plastic shroud where I've said before how to release those clips. The proper genuine clips are good. You just push them in and then they release and lift out, then you pull them out to reset them. I think we did a video on that. This bracket, it will just slip down in position really easily, except that I've got the light in the way and I've only got one hand available, so I'll move that light over there. So I've just unplugged this plug here. Obviously the air temperature sensor is down the bottom there, right? So when I did the last video, I wasn't looking at wires, I was on this angle here just going, oh yeah, air temperature sensor. Obviously it's a sensor that goes to the back of the badge here for the radar and everything. You can have a look at it if you like, whatever, right? It doesn't matter. The point I was saying is you got to unplug that wire, so unplug that and just set it back out of the way. I'll take that bracket down. And that will, it doesn't fall because I've let it go. Basically those two top holes, you're going to lift the bonnet release a little bit till you bolt the bottom down, but you can see the top holes will line up perfectly, right? And the bottom one, it's not sitting in position yet. I've got to take this bolt out, right? And that'll just sit straight into there. So awesomeness once again. Let's get the bracket, the charger onto the bracket and the bracket in place. Okay, so obviously it'd be easier to mount the charger unit on the bracket before you fit the bracket to the car, because you've got some wire connections. If you're using a projector unit like this or the red arc, either way, yeah, you've got some connections to do. So, and there's also a fuse holder on the side of the bracket, so I thought I'd show you that. So I'll show you all the connections as well while we're at it. Might help with your installation if you decide to buy one of these. If you do want one, I got mine from Every Battery. That's who we get our batteries and chargers and stuff off. So basically you've got one that says output, that's the brown one. Obviously that's got to go to your auxiliary battery, like a positive, right? So we have used, there's little joiners that come in this kit with a projector. Show you what they look like. I'll grab one. Just need a proper set of crimpers to crimp those. Okay, which look like this, you know. Anyway, with heat shrink over the top, so they were nice and tight. Couldn't pull them out. Rock solid. Put the heat shrink over, but I like extra, so I put tape individually on. So the other two, the red one's alternator in, so that's to your battery or whatever, and then the black one obviously is your earth, the big one. So we've got a dual double insulator going to the main battery for the earth and the alternator in. Same deal, so heat shrink in there, individually taped, and then tape over the top just to hold it all together. Okay, and then the brown going to a red is to go to the auxiliary battery. The green is your solar input, right? So again, nice crimp on a terminal lug there, and the heat shrink onto a fuse holder, which, you know, there's different types of fuse holders you can get. That's again the brand that I got from Every Battery. which come in these packets like that. Okay, and then there's of course these ones as well. So anyway, just wanted to show you that. That's what we've done so far. Basically our 4 connections. Obviously at the other end of the solar, what we'll have is we'll have a wire, haven't worked out where it's going yet, but a terminal lug at this end here. A wire will go red, you know, because it's basically positive solar input, right? So this is your best solar controller, not the one that came with the unit most likely. And then obviously another wire to an earth anywhere, and we'll bring it to a Anderson plug. You know what that looks like. So Anderson plug. So somewhere around here we'll have, it might not be here, could be a metre away, whatever, we'll have an Anderson plug coming off there, positive one side and the earth from the vehicle. So that way if you got your solar panels, you just plug it straight into that plug. Obviously plug it in before you open the panels as they go. Your last connections, LED. I think if you want to run a light to your dash inside the car to tell you that it's charging, but I'm not sure because I haven't owned one of these units before and I don't usually install them. Ignition, that wire will need to go to a power source. Should be able to get that under the bonnet in the fuse box there, using something really simple and reliable, like a little, you know, like that, where that just plugs into one of the existing fuses, and then you've got 2 fuses on top which replace that one, and then you've got one for the new circuit. Pretty straightforward. This black wire, you can have a read up in the instructions, but depending what type of batteries you can. Okay, so one other step you have to do, this wire to the sensor at the front, right, it goes to the badge. It becomes a little bit short when with it, you can plug it in, that's for sure, but I'm suggesting I've cut this wire here, right, to open that up to get this out of the loom that was in there, right, so it allows that to come out a bit like that. So we're going to re-tape that up nice and neatly, and we're going to put some tape down this end of things just to give the wire a little bit more room to move. So one little modification you don't need to do, but it's probably preferred. Just doing that now. Okay, so what I've done is I've re-taped those wires there and just put a zip tie here that's still over the corrugated tubing. So now we can rework this wire. It doesn't matter if it bends back, it's still supported the way it was originally designed to, but it just gives us that extra, instead of being fixed right around there, it'll come around like that, which is fine. Nice and neat. Hope you can see that. So here's the unit on the car before we put the cover back on, and obviously we've got the wires to connect still, but so that's how it sits there, you know, nice and solid. When you put the cover on, because obviously you've got your hood latch here, you've still got access to get through if you need to press any of these buttons, etc. So then you've just obviously got to route your wires. So the way we've done it, so all your wiring looms just sitting, wiring coming out the bottom. We've got the one going, the supply, whatever, to the auxiliary battery and corrugated split tubing. We're going to obviously work out your best way to run it. Just think, right? Have it in every positive wire, like to have insulated or double insulated, this split corrugated tubing. Run it in a way, a bit like the factory wires. Think about where they put them. Nice and neat, take the extra time to make it nice and neat, and plenty of zip ties. And obviously, same with this one over here, it's double insulated. It's going to come over, we haven't tidied that up yet, and connect those to the batteries with terminal lugs, and then you've got your other connections. We're not going to go into that in this video. This is just about fitting this Kaon bracket. It's very straightforward. The tips are, you just need to obviously sort that wire out a little bit. This is that wire here that comes around from the back, right, and connects onto the sensor. There's your fuse holder on the side of the bracket, which is really cool. With your, you can put your solar coming off the top there, fused right next to the unit, because you shouldn't need a really long run for that. And I don't know what else I can tell you. A piece of cake, a potato caker. Happy days. Just to show you what this unit mounts like with it in. Alright, so you can see it there. Getting plenty of air cooling, but not really in the way of anything. Perfect use of space. Very secure. Well designed as always, thanks to Kaon. And you can get to your mode button quite easily. Bit of an angle through here, you can actually see all your lights, you can see that. I know it's not focusing that well, but you can see it all. Beautiful design. The red arc bracket, you've actually got to cut a hole in the trim here, and it's over to the side, which is a bit of a waste of space, particularly if you're going to put that water cooler there. You need to keep that free. So I really think the Kaon bracket here, and the projector works well anyway, but the Red Arc's also a good unit, made in Australia. So either way, whichever way you want to go, guys. Just wanted to show you that Kaon bracket. Beautiful.